greatest need becomes a blessing when it drives you to depend on God. Okay? So 2 Kings, we're going to be in chapter 3, and we're going to start in verse number 9. And it reads this way. It says, "The king of Edom and his troops joined them, and all three armies traveled along a roundabout route through the wilderness for 7 days. But there was no water for the men or for their pack of animals. The king of Israel cried out, 'What should we do? The Lord has brought the three of us here to let the king of Moab defeat us.' But King Jehoshaphat of Judah asked, 'Is there no prophet of the Lord with us? If there is, we can ask the Lord what to do.' One of King Joram's officers replied, 'Elisha, son of Shaphat, is here. He used to be Elijah's personal assistant.' Jehoshaphat said, 'Then the Lord will speak through him.' So the kings of Israel, Judah, and Edom went to consult with Elisha." Now, Elisha had already done 2 miracles at this point, and we kind of threw in a little one for fun. Okay? He had already split the Jordan River. He had already purified the spring of Jericho, and that's earlier in 2 Kings. It's chapter 2 if you want to read it. And then he had not summoned bears, but he had called out to God because these kids were making fun of him because he had a bald head. So he turned, cried out to the Lord, and bears came out of the woods and mauled him, which I kind of like. So Elisha cops an attitude. And he learned this attitude from Elijah, to show you that Elijah was actually kind of a man's man too, because we all know that men can cop attitude sometimes. Right? So here's where Elijah got his attitude from. It is in 1 Kings chapter 18, verse 21 and following. It said, "Then Elijah stood in front of them and said, 'How long are you going to waver between 2 opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him, but if Baal is God, then follow him.' But the people were completely silent. Then Elijah said to them, 'I am the only prophet of the Lord who is left, but Baal has 450 prophets. Now bring 2 bulls, the prophets of Baal may choose whichever one they wish, cut it into pieces and lay it on the wood of their altar, but without setting fire to it. I will prepare the other bull and lay it on the wood of the altar, but not set fire to it either. Then call on the name of your God, and I will call on the name of the Lord, and the God who answers by setting fire to the wood is the true God.' So the people agreed. So here's Elijah's setting. 450 against 1. Your God's against my one God. Well, surely, he says to them, your God can answer you. This is what he said. Then Elijah said to the prophets of Baal, 'You go first, for there are many of you. Choose one of the bulls and prepare it, and call on the name of your God, but do not set fire to the wood.' So they prepared one of the bulls and placed it on the altar. Then they called on the name of Baal all morning, shouting, 'O Baal, answer us!' But there was no reply of any kind. They danced wildly around the altar that they had made. About noontime, Elijah began mocking them, and here comes the attitude. 'You'll have to shout louder,' he scoffed, 'for surely he's a god. Perhaps he's in deep thought, or he is relieving himself, or maybe he's away on a trip, or he is asleep and needs to be wakened.'" Yeah. Hey, maybe he's going to the bathroom, can't hear you. Scripture, without me, Scripture says that. Or maybe he's getting ready to go on a trip and he's packing his luggage, so you're going to have to scream louder.